Fabbo Podcast. Hear candid conversations with wedding professionals as they share their stories, insights, and tips from inside the wedding industry. We'll chat about how to be authentic and that it's okay not to be perfect or run your business like someone else's Instagram. Let's dive into the privilege it is to serve our clients and discover the talented creatives that make up our community. When we share what we know and who we are, we better serve our couples as a wedding day team, as well as each other. Simply put, Be Fabbo. Now here's your host, Bobby Brinkman.
Happy Wedding Wednesday, Be Fabbo Podcast listeners. Very excited for you to join us today. Today's episode, I am speaking with the Fabbo dynamic duo, Jeff and Cindy Brown. They're the owners of the award-winning All About You Entertainment, Savannah's premier leader in wedding DJs, event DJs, lightings, photo booths, wedding coordination. But listeners, they are so much more. They are Fabbo people. Let me tell you, they are leaders in the industry. They're leaders in our wedding community, and it is very rare in our industry, and I think in a lot of businesses, and maybe even in the world, to find two souls that actually care more about the people sitting to the right, to the left, and across from them. At any given event, they make sure that every wedding vendor has the opportunity to not only succeed in their job, but to accomplish it and get it done in a timely fashion. They really do embrace wedding day team. I have the honor of working with them once in a while, and I'm always thrilled. I know it's going to be a great day. They want the vendors on a wedding day and event to succeed as much as their own team does. And when in doing so, they elevate and they raise the bar for wedding DJ entertainment in the industry and across the United States. I travel around a lot, and I get to meet DJs in other countries, and let me tell you, in other states, actually, not so much countries. But let me tell you, here in Savannah, we are definitely blessed in the low country area that this is where they call home base. They're always willing to share their knowledge, their expertise. They're willing to lend a hand. And here in the Savannah market, they are indeed community leaders and highly respected. And I'm very, very thrilled that I get to work with them and I get to know them. We're going to talk today with them a little bit about what the state of the industry is like for wedding DJs, how that's changing. They're one of the only companies that has a female DJ, so we're going to touch on that. And we're also going to talk about what it's like to be husband and wife and working together. And they also have an amazing team. And I want to dig a little bit deep about how do they keep all these amazing people. And the reason is because they're behind them. Anybody that runs a small business know what it's like to try to have employees. These guys have a team of amazing young women and gentlemen that are well respected throughout the industry and treat everybody with equal respect, just like you have Jeff and Cindy at one of the events. So I'm excited to talk to them. I'm excited to share the rest of the industry. I'm excited to share their story with you listeners. So please, thanks for joining us, and please make welcome Jeff and Cindy Brown from All About You Entertainment. All right, listeners, like I mentioned, I have the dynamic duo, Jeff and Cindy Brown here from All About You Entertainment. Thanks, you guys, for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know how crazy wedding season is here in the South. So thank you for joining and sharing your expertise with our listeners today.
Oh, thanks for having us, Bobby.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Always great to talk to you.
Well, as I mentioned in your bio, and I mentioned a little bit about your bio, but I also mentioned in your interview how much I personally respect you as business owners, and that maybe you don't know as much as you think you know about, but the industry here in this community put you in high regard and hold you both very high up as leaders of the wedding community. So I share with our listeners a little bit about how much respected and valued you are to the wedding industry in general, but how blessed we are to have you guys here. So,
Thank you.
Gonna dive in. So let's tell our listeners a little bit about your backgrounds a little bit. So Jeff, as many DJs, let's tell our listeners how you ended up becoming a wedding DJ and what was the path that you started from and you got into this wonderful wedding industry.
Well, I started out in radio right out of high school. I went to a broadcasting school in Washington, D.C. And then when I graduated from that, I started working for a radio station in Pennsylvania. I worked there for about 12 years on air as a DJ. And then I moved to Wilmington, North Carolina, and I was a morning show radio DJ there for about 4 or 5 years. And then I hopped to Virginia, and I worked for a radio radio station there. That was my first management position. I was a program director and music director for that radio station. I was only there for about 8 months. And then the company, which is a large company, Cumulus Broadcasting, based out of Atlanta, they decided to pick me up and move us to Savannah to run a radio station here in Savannah. So that's what brought me to Savannah. And I was the program director, and I did an afternoon show on a radio station here in Savannah for about 2.5 years. And the whole time, I mean, since I was like 16 years old, I had been DJing private parties, weddings, birthday parties, school dances, just for fun, really. So I've been DJing for 31, 32 years, something like that. But when I was in Savannah, we just fell in love with the city. I didn't really like the direction that radio was taking. A lot of satellite stuff, a lot of pre-recorded stuff, no live people in the studios anymore. So we did our research on the market in Savannah. And at the time, which was about 2000, I want to say 6 or 7, there weren't a whole lot of what I call professional DJs in the market. There was a lot of guys with a laptop and a pair of speakers and said, "Hey, I'll do your wedding for $300." But there was nobody with like real good MC background, good radio knowledge, music knowledge, nice equipment, nice vehicles, backup equipment. You know what I mean? And they were coming dressed kind of sloppy. So I thought, if we dress up in a nice suit and tie and bring brand new, nice equipment, have trained quality radio voice kind of MCs at each event, I think it'd be something different that the market hasn't seen. And I couldn't believe how much we were embraced, and the photographers and planners and the wedding industry just opened their arms, and they outright said, "Where the hell have you guys been?" You know?
Exactly.
That's what they said.
Exactly. Think about it. Because back then, and even now, we can say that even now, how odd it is to show up at a venue and you've just had this wonderful ceremony and you show up at the reception venue and you got a guy in cargo shorts and a Hawaiian shirt going, "Wow, man, and he has a drink in his hand." And it totally deflates the entire day. And you're like, seriously, where'd you find this guy? And then there's 1 or 2 people here in the market that they show up dressed like that, but they're pretty good DJers. Not wedding entertainment people. And so I think that's the distinction. So I'm glad that you really address that in saying you also have to look the part and you have to sound the part, because DJs, and you can explain this a little bit, the difference between a DJ and wedding entertainment, in your professional opinion, those go hand in hand, correct?
Oh, yeah. A DJ has sort of a rock star image in our culture today. People look at a DJ as, someone that's cool, someone that's hip, someone that kind of knows what's going on and knows the music scene. But that doesn't necessarily mean they're a good MC, a good person that can command a room and can talk well and speak well on a microphone. That doesn't mean they can do all of that just because they can play great music. To find someone that can do both is really difficult, I think.
Right. And just because you can press the play button nowadays on your computer or your iPod does not make you a wedding DJ or entertainment, nor does a club DJ. You may be a great club DJ, but that is so different than being a wedding DJ. And like you said, you have to have somebody. I remind, and listeners, you hear me say this often on the podcast, but I preach that to all engaged couples, and those that are listening now, please again hear me. Their wedding reception is one half of your wedding day. Do not skimp on the entertainment. I know you think, okay, it's only 4 hours of my day, but when you boil it down, if you're having an 8 or 10 hour day, that 4 or 5 hours needs to be spent with somebody who knows how to run the show. And that's not your wedding planner. Your wedding planner will get everything going and everything logistically organized, but you need an entertainer, MC guy who's going to line people up and keep it moving forward. The wedding planner will help you move it forward, but that DJ, entertainment, MC guy and our lady has got to keep a pulse, let's say, on the beat of the party. And that's exactly what you guys do at All About You Entertainment. So,
yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And it takes a lot of work. I mean, it's not something that you just all of a sudden know how to do. I mean, we actually have a training program that we put all of our DJs through that I actually teach. And I train every single one of my DJs on how to do a wedding reception, how to do a wedding ceremony, how to run things if there is not a planner there running things. And it really has helped. And because of that, we're one of the preferred companies in the area, and we're very proud of that. And it just takes. You mentioned the club DJ. I mean, I've had some club DJs that come work for us, and I've had to train them and get them out of their bad habits and train them, and some of the ways that we do things, because there is a right way and wrong way to do things. And I tell brides and grooms all the time when I sit down and I meet with them that, every vendor you talk to is going to say that they are the most important thing at your wedding. The photographer is going to tell you their pictures are the most important. The dress person is going to tell you that their dress is the most important thing. The caterer is going to tell you the food is the most important. And same with the DJ and the entertainment. But you all have to work well together, and you all have to get along with each other. You have to coordinate things with each other so that the day runs smooth. But the entertainment is something that people will remember when they're walking in the parking lot to get in their car on the way home. They will talk about whether or not they had a good time.
Well, and that's the key. Important. If they're at the end, if they're walking to their car to the parking lot at the end of reception, you did something right. If they're walking to their car after apps, you're in a lot of trouble. I mean, think about it. If you have exactly everybody right. Staying and you're going, hey, really honest to God, last song, people, and people are like, one more. You've done something right. And as much as, and no offense to Cindy, and we're going to talk to Cindy in a minute, no matter what the wedding planner has done, that vibe is not from any other vendor but the DJ entertainment. And everybody needs to understand that. As a photographer, when I have people dancing, I have something to do. I have a story to tell. I mean, I can only take so many photos of people sitting on the table twirling their little whatever and their little candle that's going because they're bored to death. I need people dancing. So that's a tribute. And again, the training, and we'll come back to the training in a little bit, but Cindy, add in now how the wedding planning part happened for you and how you guys, quote, married that into All About You Entertainment.
Well, I started out going, like when we first started, I would go to events with Jeff and I would help set up the equipment and, help transition between toasts. I would come up and let them know, oh, hey, we're going to do this and that. I would be the liaison between Jeff and the couples. And then I would see sometimes when there was wedding coordinators, I'm using air quotes, wedding coordinators there that did absolutely nothing. And I was like, wow, I know all these people and I know how things are being run. I think I can do this. So after a few years of observing and assisting Jeff,
and basically on the job training, because you're actually at a wedding learning, not just going, hey, I think I could do that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, I didn't just plan my wedding and say, hey, I think I could do this.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, because when I enjoyed planning my wedding and I thought it was fantastic, but I never thought I could do it as a career. And I don't do full wedding planning. I just offer a day a month of wedding coordinating because it seems that's what brides really want. They want to have all their hands in everything, and then I come in the month before and start helping them put it together. But I just started to have relationships with all the vendors. I kept seeing the same people. I started saying, oh, this person's good. That's person's, So exactly. I just kept, took mental notes of what was going on around me. And I went and I took a course online, which turned out to be, you can't replace being at a wedding with, what I'm saying? Like
the practical experience. It's practical.
An online course tells you stuff, but when you're there and I was talking to one of my girls the other day, you learn something new every wedding. Hundreds of weddings that we've done, every wedding is different and there's different scenarios and you learn something at every one. I posted something on Instagram recently. 8 years ago, I did a wedding and the bride and groom came into the room and they had these owl faces put on all the guest faces to surprise the groom. It was just an inside joke, and I wanted to see it. And their picture of them walking into the room is them, yay, with their arms in the air, and then there's me in the background with a big smile on my face. But now looking back, like, that's a lesson learned. Don't stand in the doorway when the bride and groom are being introduced. So every wedding, I learned something new. So that was 8 years ago. And so I don't do
right.
that
And
anymore.
I think couples don't understand, because one of the things that drive me crazy, a lot of things do, but when couples say, well, you do this every weekend. And I always want to say, right, I show up at a wedding every weekend, but it's never the same. So I wish couples and families would all go, okay, this is not the same. Because I challenge them that even if they go to their 9 to 5, something is still different. You might drive to the same parking spot and go in the same building, but something's still different that day. The coffee in the coffee pot might be off. So things are different no matter what industry you're in. But at weddings, literally, everything is different. And I think we're having kind of conversations here. If we start off in the day and a wheel falls off the cart, it is nearly dang impossible to get the wheel back on the cart before we get to the reception. And I think that's another thing that misnomers in our industry is that 90% of the time, Cindy, and you can back me on this, the wedding planners, after that first plate of food, they're gone. So the entertainment guys and usually photographers are the two that are, quote, air quotes again, the wedding planners for the rest of the evening. Half the time the catering staff bails on us, So we're the ones that have to do that. So I love the fact that you mentioned that you're more of a day of planner. How do you find that in the All About You company? The destination brides that are coming, are most of them saying, yes, that you guys have this bundled up? How do you guys sell the All About You entertainment and the wedding planning services?
We're not really salesperson. We just discuss and just tell them what we have, what we offer. And we just let them know that having a day of wedding coordinator is so much better than having your aunt or your sister or somebody in the wedding party try to wrangle things and they can't enjoy the day. I love what I do. And as a lot of people say, wedding planners that I talk to, they can't stand doing day of wedding coordinating because sometimes you don't get all the information and you just kind of sometimes brides are just like, here's my card, go decorate. Right. I've had that happen to me a couple times.
Well, you show up at the reception and there's boxes of candles and you're like, oh, you want all 500 out in the next 20 minutes before Jeff announces everybody in? Yeah, let me get right on that.
Yeah. So like, those are other things I've learned. I was like, in the beginning I would do, okay, yeah, I'll take your card. Now I'm like, days before, I'm like, no, give me everything. I need to go through all your things and we need to discuss everything. And I'm very detail oriented with as far as what what they want us to do. And
I think we have to be that way in the industry, from no matter what genre you work in or what area you work in. You have to have the details, and sometimes we have to write them down and follow them and try to follow them. While nothing's the same, you have to have parameters for this should happen, but if it doesn't, here's plan A, B, C, and D. So, that's the good thing about that. So going back to Jeff a little bit, the training process that you guys have, how many DJs do you have now on your team?
Right now we have 8, and we're training 3 more right now. So we're hoping to have 11 by the end of the year. So next year we'll have 11 DJs, counting myself, and 1 in Atlanta.
So after you go through this training and these people apply, explain a little bit, I don't want to give all your trade secrets away, but they go through a thorough planning and then they go out and they train on site with one of the other DJs or yourself how many weddings do they have to do before you turn them loose?
Well, they don't go out immediately. Honestly, there's a lot of classroom type stuff where we meet at our office. We go over music. We watch videos of bad DJs and how not to do things. We watch videos of good DJs and great different ways of announcing the wedding party, of announcing the cake cutting, the toast. We talk about microphone technique. We talk about equipment. We show them how to use the equipment, the right way and wrong way to hook things up. We talk about how we as a company, All About You Entertainment, does a wedding, because we don't do weddings like everybody else does. We have a sort of a formula and a way that we like to do things. And We kind of train them in that way. And then once all of the classroom type stuff is finished and some MC training and stuff is done as well, then we send them out to a wedding kind of to shadow a DJ, really, to see everything that we've just went through the training on. Now you can see it actually in motion, and you can watch and take notes and see everything that you learned in action. And then they go out maybe, I'd say 3 or 4 times with different DJs in our company. Usually the 4th time they're actually playing some music maybe, and not just standing around and watching and taking notes. But usually by the 3rd or 4th time, we let them play like cocktail music or dinner music, and maybe even a little bit during the dancing part. And then they go out with me usually on their first wedding that they do. And I'm there just to help if needed. In case they get stuck, or if they have a question, they won't be totally on an island by themselves out there.
Right.
But I do not want to send anybody out to anyone's wedding or an event unless they are 100% ready to go and prepared and have all the tools that they need, because this is somebody's special day. And I'm not going to send someone out to do their first wedding and them not be ready and it be a horrible experience for someone. And we have a great reputation that we need to uphold. So that's why it takes a little while. And that's why, honestly, it's not easy to work for our company. We don't just grab somebody off the street and say, okay, you're a DJ and you're going to do a wedding for me on Saturday. It doesn't work that way. They got to go through 6 to 8 weeks of training. They got to shadow some DJs. And, it might be a good 6 to 8 months before they're doing an event from the time that we hire them.
Right.
So,
I was just going to say, based on your training, these guys could be halfway through a wedding season before they're turned loose. And that you alluded to the fact of a reputation. Once you're in the industry, for more than a hot minute, you either have a good reputation or you have a bad reputation. And all about you is in your name, and you guys stand behind that. And as I alluded to it in your intro, that you guys care more about the wedding pros on the wedding day team. You want them to succeed as much as you want your couple to. So you guys,
right,
while you're the main focus of a wedding, you also take a back seat and allow everybody else to succeed. And it's evident that you set up your DJs to succeed as well. So explain, Jeff, a little bit how couples, and Cindy as well, how couples are finding All About You Entertainment. And then once they find you, how do you decide which DJ goes to them? What's the routine for them to find their magic mic, per se?
Well, honestly, this is one of the things that makes our company so popular and makes our company so sought after, is because we have so many DJs. We have different guys, we have a girl, we have different personalities, we have different ages. So I don't go out and tell everybody, hey, we're the biggest and largest DJ company in the Low Country and the Savannah area. That's not what I sell. That's not what I market. It's fine to be the biggest, but that's not my goal. My goal is to be the most diverse and have the most different types of DJs, so that a bride and groom can sit down and look at the different people that we have, and they can actually pick the DJ that best suits them and their personality and the vibe that they're going for their wedding. They might want a young guy that's a really, really good mixer. They might want an older guy that's more seasoned and more experienced and is really good on the microphone. They might want someone that's not going to be on the microphone much at all and just play music most of the night. But we have different styles and personalities and types of people, and I think that's what makes it so popular, is because they can kind of pick the one that they like the best.
Well, and we talk about diversity in our industry, all the time, and that also does go into the wedding entertainment industry like you're in. So diverse means, yes, different ages, but you also have, you have African Americans, you have women, you have a woman, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But I think when couples come to All About You, they can see, quote, and I know it's overused, and I can see myself in this company. I see the face of an African American, that if I'm having a predominant African American wedding and I feel comfortable that I would like an African American DJ, you have that to provide. If I want to have that, and you alluded to it being a season, there are a lot of younger couples who say, hey, I know to me, they say, hey, Bobby, we're not going to dance a lot, so we want a DJ company that can just put music on if people want to. You guys have people on staff that know exactly how to do it. A funny story, I always feel bad. I love DJ James and I love DJ Chris, and I get to work with them a lot more than the other team members there. But I always feel bad. I remember calling Cindy one time saying, hey, I have this great couple, but they're just not going to dance a whole bunch. They're very honest. And I feel really bad when I say, but I really like Chris or James, but I hate to take their dynamic personality on a really, and I use the word easy wedding, because
Right.
all weddings are not easy, but I hate to take their dynamic personality and all the things they can do, but I want the best for my couple, and all your DJs are amazing, but every one of them have their own personalities. And that is, as a couple, and I can just from a vendor side, but as a couple side, I think that has to be amazing that you have diversed your payroll. You have diversed your team. You're also a DJing company that is not afraid to embrace same-sex weddings. I've had the honor of working with you guys, and you treat everybody the same. I've done largely Hispanic weddings with you guys, and you guys have played that couple's music all night long. I had no idea what we were playing. Heck, some of your DJs play music I'm definitely closer to 60 than anything else, so I don't know some of the music. But the fact that you're providing exactly what your customer and client asked for is just, it's mind-blowing in this industry that you hit all the bullet points when you send a DJ out. And I really do think it goes back to you guys as individuals and the respect you have for your couples and the industry and how you don't want your individual DJ to fail.
Well,
so I think that's great.
And when we, thank you very much, really. I appreciate that. It's nice to hear that from someone like you in the business. When we started the company, we had a hard time coming up with the name of the company because we just didn't want it to be Jeff and Cindy's DJ company or,
right.
or Brown Entertainment or whatever.
Brown sounds like you had
exactly. Brown Entertainment now available on VH1. Yeah, there you go.
But we kept talking about it, and we were in Las Vegas at the time at a DJ convention, and Cindy and I just kept saying, well, why are we different? Why are we different? What do we do that's different than all the other DJs? And I kept saying, you know what? Our customer service is better. It can't be beat. It's top notch. I constantly get compliments on that. And I said, because we listen to the couple. If they want a wedding in their backyard or in a barn with hay bales and 30 people, we can do a backyard barbecue wedding. If it's a fancy wedding at the Westin on New Year's Eve with 350 people and it's a black tie event, we can do that. And I'm like, it's really all about the customer. Everything we do is about them. And we just kept coming back to that. And we looked at each other one day and we said, all about you, because it's all about them. It's their day, their way. If they want us to be on the microphone a lot, we are. If they don't want us to be on the microphone, we're not. If they want the DJ to be very interactive, if they want the DJ to be an incredible mixer and mash a lot of different types of songs together, we can do that. If they just want us to stick to their playlist, we can do that. We do whatever they want us to do. We don't sell ourselves as this is how we do weddings. This is how we're going to do your wedding. And that's it. We never do it that way. We ask them, how do you want this wedding to go? What is your vision? What is your dream? What is your vibe? And we'll make that happen for you.
And in such a professional manner too. I mean, like I said, you guys are inundated with, as the evening goes on, we all know people sometimes, get overserved per se. And I have been here where all of you guys have been able to just professionally handle it, still have the music going. And there's something to be said about not getting frustrated, not getting annoyed. And when things do go down, I mean, people don't know that things go down. I mean, people don't know a mic has went down. People don't know that speakers went down. And let's face it, let's talk about that honestly. Things happen. But you guys have built a business where you have a backup. And I know you both, and you'll shy away when I say it, but I know there's other DJ companies that the first thing out of their mouth at an event, if something goes down, is I'm going to call the Browns. They'll come and rescue me. So you've built that bridge in the community about being a community leader and helpful and not about the competition, but you've trained your guys and your gal to succeed. So that goes back to, again, how they're equipped to handle all situations, and then it's customized. So All About You Entertainment customizes any wedding or event that you want to go to. Let's talk a little bit, Cindy. When couples reach out, they're finding you via website, not social media, and they find you, and then you start the process with them. What's it like to become an All About You couple?
Yeah, a lot of the times they find us on word of mouth.
Exactly.
That's the big thing. When they finally get to us, they'd be like, we talked to the florist, we talked to the venue, we talked to the caterer, and they all said we need to contact you. And that always gets my heart right there.
Well, it's a true fact. It's a true fact. Come on.
It just means so much to us that people are, after all these years, still saying that we're the best, and it just makes me so happy. And
how many are destination? Like how many? And I know you guys do a number of weddings a year. And let's just talk weddings. How many are truly destination weddings that don't live in Savannah or Low Country?
I would say about 60 to 70% are destination weddings coming from, oh my gosh, all over. We've even had people come from Hawaii.
Yeah.
Hawaii
right.
to come get married here, which is always, London. We had Australia.
Yeah.
We've had so many people from so many different, New York and New Jersey. Those are my peeps originally.
Right.
New York and New Jersey. So,
I mean, how did they not select you? I mean, how did they not, if you're a Baltimore Oriole fan, how do you not call Jeff Brown? I mean, come on.
Yes. We always have so many connections with them. We're like, oh, you're from here. Oh yeah. How about this? And it's fun. I love connecting with the brides and grooms and all our couples.
But you also guys talked about how you invest back in your business and you invest in your education. How important do you think that is for 2019 industry, the DJ entertainment, to keep investing back with education?
Oh, you have to. If you don't, I think you just get left behind. We go to like 2 or 3 conventions a year. People don't realize that there are such things as DJ conventions.
Right.
And thousands of DJs come from all across the country. And we do have education. It's not just there to hear the latest speakers and, to look at the gear. Yeah, that's a big part of it. But there's also seminars where people have, here's how to do introductions. Here's how, to market yourself. Here's how to do, there's so many seminars. And I sit there like it's my job. I'm there from the very first seminar in the morning to the last one at the end of the day. I am there all day. And then after the seminars, we have connections with the DJs from all over the country. And, not everybody runs their receptions the same. California, when the bride and groom walk in the door, they'll have a cake cutting as soon as they walk in the door, which is not something that we do here. So you learn about different ways that people run their wedding receptions. So it's a great learning experience. And we just love going. We've been going to wedding DJ conventions for 20 years now.
And I'm sure they also talk, aside from what everybody does different in the market, because like you guys, I came from a different market, so things are definitely different down here in the South than they are in the Midwest, rural city area. But what are the trends? Are you guys seeing some trends? I know you guys do a lot of the silent disco. What are some trends that you're seeing coming? And let's be honest, what's some trends that you just wish would go away?
Well, the big trend is not doing as much as they used to. They don't want to do the bouquet and garter. Right. Sometimes they don't even want to introduce the wedding party.
Exactly. I agree.
And they just or they just want to introduce themselves, or they just want to silently come into the room. And they don't do cakes sometimes. Those are the things that I'm seeing as far as reception,
Right.
It's funny. And we're fine with that.
Well, it allows you guys to play some more music, because I have always found that if we don't do the godforsaken garter toss and bouquet toss, and let's just say your reception's at 10:30, if we don't do that at 10:15, we lose a lot of people, Right. And sometimes after the cake's cut, people bail. So I have found that it makes you guys do more work, play more music, and actually get the entertainment guys. You guys have to show off a little bit more, because we're not doing some of those. Jeff, you can know that. How long sometimes does it take to freaking get the girls on the stage or on the floor to throw the freaking bouquet? I mean, it's raining cats sometimes to get these people They're not in the same room. They don't want to do something. So as a photographer, I'm going to tell you that those are moments that might be important to some people, but I don't miss not having to capture them because they were just events that happen at weddings. But I'm finding it more fun when people are doing some of the group dances or, hey, DJ, this is our alma mater song, play that. I think those are more meaningful to this millennial and Z generation than the throwing the bouquet and garter. I can't tell you the last time I've had one of those,
Right.
And one of the weddings we did last year, that was so great. The British wedding. I mean, the three of us were howling during those speeches.
So funny.
Bring something different that we don't see. I'm so excited. Listeners did at this particular wedding, and it's been featured several places, but they had wigs. They weren't, we didn't know about this. And so they put these neon wigs on, and they went up and put a pink one on Jeff. And when I went up to them and said, what's it for? And they said, well, because when we get to this time of the evening, the drinks might be flowing. So in England, so we don't have really good DJs. So at this time of the night, we put on wigs so that people don't really know who we are while we're partying. And so just listening to those things, it was hilarious to watch. And that was another party that did not want to stop you guys playing. So I love seeing that. But are there any trends you think that are coming this way that you see at conventions that might hit the South?
We always tell the brides and grooms to customize and personalize the wedding as much as you can, because the more you do that, the more fun you'll have and the more memorable your wedding will be. And it'll be different because it reflects your personality. So if you want to do the bouquet and garter, fine. If you don't, that's fine. A lot just want to do the bouquet and don't do the garter anymore. Some don't want the cake announced. They just want to have a private cake cutting and a few photos. They don't need a big introduction for that or anything. But as far as trends go, I mean, there's some different lighting things that people are trying and doing to make the reception, look something different when you walk into the room, to make the room look a little different. There's something that it's not really new. It's been out for a couple of years, but we're one of the first to bring it to the area, is the dancing on a cloud effect, where it's more or less a fog machine, but it's a low-lying fog. It stays low to the ground. And when the couple is doing their first dance, it looks like they're on a cloud. And we've done that a couple of times, and it's really popular up north, and I think it's just now starting to get down here. But we offer that, and we've done it a couple of times already, and the pictures are phenomenal. So that might be something that's coming around. But and as far as music trends go and music goes, I mean, music today is just, it's so different than when I first started DJing back in the 80s, There's a lot of good pop music. Now there's a lot of hip hop and a lot of rap and stuff that's in the top 40 that's considered pop music when it's really not. And you've got to know how to integrate those songs, when to play them and when not to play them at a reception. And I go over the music with the bride and groom a lot, as far as, how important is dancing to you at the reception? Do you want us just to play a Spotify playlist of your favorite songs and it doesn't matter if people dance, or do you want them up and dancing and a packed dance floor the whole night? What is your vibe? And some will give us a Spotify playlist or some will give us a list of songs and they say, you know what, stick with these. And that's what we like and that's what we want. And if that means there's not going to be a lot of dancing, then that's fine. That's what they want, But most of the time, they want to have a good time. And honestly, it takes somebody that really doesn't know what they're doing to screw up a wedding, because everybody wants to have fun. Everybody's there to have a good time. People want to dance. We're really just pouring gasoline on the fire. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
Give them what they want. I tell people all the time, just listen to the bride and groom. They will tell you what they want, maybe the father of the bride's speech is the most important thing to this bride the entire night. Not the dress, not the pictures, not the flowers, not the food, not the music. It's her father's speech. So let's make that an incredible moment.
Right, exactly.
And that's what you have to do. If you listen to the bride and grooms, they will tell you what's important to them. And then you just make it happen. It's that simple.
And then that goes along with managing couples' expectations. So when we're at a wedding, and how good are you with, and I know the answer to this, but just generically, but you see a dance floor going, and you are, Jeff, playing those Spotify lists that the bride and groom want, but you physically are seeing that nobody's dancing. At what point do you have to kick in and go, man, I'm a DJ, I feel this vibe, I've got to segue off Susie's favorite songs because the rest of the party's not dancing, and you have to kick it into a playlist that you know is going to get the dance floor going? And most of the time, maybe couples don't even realize that, but how often do you see that happening?
Well, usually what happens is I'll tell them before the reception, I'll say, look, you know, we're going to follow this playlist to the best of our ability. And we're going to play as many of these songs that you've selected on your special day. We're going to play as many as we can. And then I ask them, is it okay if we play a couple of other songs that aren't on this list that may go well with the songs that you've selected? Or if we notice that certain songs aren't working, is it okay if the DJ kind of fades out of that and goes in a different direction? Are we allowed to do that? And 9 times out of 10, they say, yeah, that's fine. We just want everybody to dance. And that's where the experience and the training comes in, because any DJ can play the wobble and get 100 people on the dance floor. What do you play after the wobble?
Exactly.
That is because that's the song that is more important than the wobble. Because when the wobble is over, those 100 people are going to sit down. Unless that song after the wobble is just as good, if not better. And you keep them out there. You know, same with Shout and same with Cupid Shuffle and Electric Slide or any of these other songs. Yeah, they'll get people on the dance floor. What do you play after that to keep them on the dance floor? I hear DJs talk about, I've got 300,000 songs in my library. Well, guess what? At a 4-hour wedding, 12 songs an hour, that's 48 songs.
Right.
A good DJ is going to know what 48 songs to play out of the 300,000 song library to keep people dancing and having fun.
And do you find if you know those 48 songs, that keeps the guests coming up and saying, hey.
They have to, and that's hard to train. That's hard to teach.
My question was, Jeff, if you have these 48 great songs, does that tend to not have guest after guest after guest up at your booth requesting a song? Because how annoying does that get?
Well, that's another thing. Again, it all comes back to the bride and groom. I mean, it really does, because they are in charge of everything that day. The music, the lights, the order of events, the songs we play, the type of DJ they have. They're in control of everything. So I tell them, look, do you want us to stick to this playlist? Because we can. Or is it okay if we veer from it? And then I tell them, what about guest requests?
Yeah.
I actually ask them, do you want us to take requests from your guests or do you not? And some of them tell us, hey, Jeff, look, I know my friends and family, they're going to ask you for some pretty weird stuff, so forget it. No request. And then that just right there tells us it doesn't matter who comes up. And if they try to give us $20 for Leonard Skinner or whatever,
exactly,
it ain't going to happen.
Which we don't accept tips.
Right. But I've seen it happen. I have been where people go, hey, for $10, will you please play Moni Moni? And the DJs, the look on you guys' faces is like, but I really can't. The guests don't. And I always think to myself, right, you're going to play that and you won't be anywhere in the room to listen, you know? And then you guys are going, okay, this is for Susan. Where's Susan? Okay, we're moving on. And it just slams the whole energy out of the room.
Right.
But you know what's funny is, and I tell my guys this all the time when we have staff meetings. A few times a year, we all get together and we talk about, the wedding business and how things have been going at recent events. And it's funny, 9 times out of 10, a guest will request a song that we have coming up anyway.
Right.
A song that we're going to probably play in the next half an hour or 45 minutes anyway. They just can't wait to hear it. You know? Every once in a while, you get a weird request. And honestly, if I can slide it in somewhere, I will do my best to get it in, because if you make somebody's aunt or their grandmother or best friend happy because they played a song, hey, look, that's going to go a long ways too, because they're going to remember that when they leave that wedding and say, you know what, that DJ was awesome. He had everybody dancing. He played my song.
Right.
What was his name? What was his phone number?
Well, and also too, if they have a family tradition, hey, at every wedding we play the, Oompa Loompa song or whatever. The fact they will embrace, it's that old saying, it's people will remember how you treated them. And the bride and groom may totally have forgotten to tell you, oh my God, I forgot we do that. But I bet there's a lot of people say, hey, we're going to have to play this song, so make sure you have it. But people will remember, and I don't care how drunk they get, they will remember that you were like, hey, I'm not that stuck up DJ, walk away, dude. Because then you get the, hey, look, I'm a wedding DJ, but I also am a damn good one and I know what I'm doing, you know? And
Yeah.
what we do here is Fabbo. We're going to have a Fabbo event. And so, you know, like we said, as people get overserved, they sometimes become the DJ, you know, and so, you know, they do whatever. I want to touch
Such a polite thing to say, overserved.
Exactly.
You're so polite.
You know, I've been
You're so
overserved.
polite, Bobby. Overserved.
You know? Well, and how many times have I walked up to you and said, "Hey, see that person right there? Been overserved. Let's try to get them off the floor before they kill somebody." You know, that's a whole different dance routine. But I want to allude a little bit or speak a little bit about what sets a professional entertainment DJ company music-wise is. There are licenses that you guys have to play music. Am I correct in this? Like, not just everybody can just become a wedding DJ legally, right?
Yeah, it's kind of difficult because so many people don't realize what's legal and what's not legal. I mean, you can't, your song, you have to pay for every song that you play. Meaning at some point you have to own that copy. Now, over the years, since I started playing records back in the early 80s, you know, my record and my music collection is so large that I've had to transfer my music from record and cassette and CD to WAV files and MP3 files in my computer now. But they're songs that I own and I purchased. So I'm allowed to play them at events now. And we also subscribe to some music services which take care of all the ASCAP fees and the licensing and the copyright stuff with the artists. So because we pay for that subscription and buy this music every month, that's taken care of for us. And all of our DJs subscribe to that. So all of the music is legal. We're not playing songs off the internet or off of YouTube. Or Spotify or anything like that. We're not copying songs, which is illegal. Like if I buy a song, I can't copy that onto a hard drive and give it to other DJs. I mean, that's illegal too. You can't do that. Each DJ has to own their own music library. And
again, listeners, this also helps you now understand why there is a price associated and a cost with hiring a DJ. I mean,
a professional DJ.
I wanted you to bring that out because, you know, you hear lots of times is, well, I don't really want to spend the money or DJs are so expensive. You know, like anything else, folks, they have to own their material that they have to do. So, you know, while that you want to make sure you have a legal one who has this music, because I can tell you there's been numerous times I went live at events and recorded and Facebook or Instagram have stopped me because they realized that music hasn't been licensed for me to I mean, I'm just showing an event, you know, we're just showing us dancing. And so everybody really trickles down on that. So I wanted to allude to that. Also, I want you to share with our listeners that you guys don't just do music. What other lovely, you know, what else do you offer for the way of entertainment for receptions and even ceremonies?
Ceremonies is probably the first thing that's really popular. We can do ceremonies as well as the wedding reception, even if the ceremony is in a different location than the reception. We provide wireless sound systems, so we can do ceremonies on the beach. We can do them on a golf course. We can do them in a field somewhere. We do a lot on the squares downtown Savannah. We do not need electricity, so that is fantastic. So the brides and grooms do not have to pay the city to get electricity turned on or anything like that. They don't have to get a permit for us because we're not bringing a giant sound system or anything like that. It's a small battery-powered speaker that is perfect for ceremonies that includes wireless microphones for the vows. We offer that service, along with, of course, we talked about earlier, Cindy's day of wedding coordination, and she has a couple assistants that work with her as well. We do all different types of lighting. The only type of lighting we don't offer is the cafe lighting. We can refer some other great companies for that, but we do uplighting. We do monogram lights. We can do some other cool lighting design things inside, outside, whatever you want. We can do that. We have 2 photo booths, which are very popular. And we have another whole a staff that takes care of that. So your DJ is not worrying about the photo booth or anything. He's concentrating on the wedding reception or ceremony and doesn't have to worry about, the other things at a wedding. We have enough staff that takes care of that as well. So
it's all female photo booth staff. I just need to say that.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah.
And explain a little bit about why your photo booth, and I use that word loosely. Explain what makes your booth different than other ones.
I'm obsessed with my booth.
Exactly.
I really love it because it's what's different about it is I have a separate social media station from the regular booth. We can do GIFs, we can do regular pictures, we can do 2x6s, 4x6s, but we have our separate social media station, which cuts down on the line at the booth. There's some booths that, you take your picture and then you stand at the booth and you start poking at it and writing things on it. My social media station is separate. So when after you take your picture, you get out of the line and you go to the social media station and you can upload your pictures to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, email it to yourself, whatever you want separately. And people love that. And we also do printouts as well, the 2x6s and 4x6s. And I also have a beautiful leather bound book that I give to our couples with gel pens, and everybody loves to write in it. It's so much better than a signature guest book that like nobody looks at, like the one I have from 20 years ago.
Right.
It's still in my attic, haven't looked at it in years. But like I think that the leather bound book with the silly pictures of your friends and the funny things that they write, the more what was the word? The more not drunk.
Oh, the most overserved.
The more overserved.
They're going to write some lovely things.
Exactly. The more crazy the pictures get and the more things they write in the book are insane.
You got to get Bobby in the booth.
Yes.
Well, and as a photographer, one of the things I preach all the time is, the power of photography, and that you need to print your photos and you have to exist in your photos. And this generation has everything on their phone and everything on the computers, but they're going to have a really bad day one day and they're going to fight and they're going to have an argument. And if they have this photo booth guest book out, or they have even one of mine, they're going to walk in and they're going to look at that and they're going to be able to touch it, feel it, embrace it, and be taken back to that moment. And let's be real here for a moment. Why weddings are very, very happy. One of the things about the beautiful power of photography is that somebody at this wedding is going to pass away. So while I speak to the attribute of not being the most important, but I'm the only service that actually increases in value, because when somebody does pass away, that photo becomes more important and more priceless. True. So when you have these photo booth photos, I think it's great when you can sit back and recall a laughing, funny moment. And they're separate. And I want listeners to understand that this is a DJ company who is saying we have a kick butt Fabbo photo booth, because most DJs will say, if you have a photo booth, you're taking away my dance floor people. So the fact that you guys have married it together and make it work is great. And I'm also going to give you guys a shout out, and listeners, I want everybody to know, we had a same-sex couple, 2 amazing men got married, and Cindy made an effort to make sure that we had LGBTQ, I'm here for him, just married, Mr. and Mr. She went out of her way to make sure that we had props at our wedding that embraced this individual wedding. And that is one of the things that people that I see from this wedding still speak to the fact that the photo booth lady made sure we had appropriate props for us. Because, as a same-sex couple, I don't want to go and hold up Mr. and Mrs. or, me and my, I want to hold up something that speaks to me, Right. And then we even had one that says, I'm here for the cake, which is a whole nother story, an inside joke. But it's the fact that you guys went that extra level to make one of my couples, but it didn't matter it was one of my couples. You would have done it no matter who was wedding this was. Mm-hmm. But I personally took it, as one more step of why I just love you guys even more, is to make my couple. And again, you make everybody feel inclusive. You're, I don't care what ethnicity or where they're from or what they do. You treat all couples about them, about you, and you treat them with respect. And that's just huge. So I love the fact that you guys do that. And the fact that, again, you guys heard, when you hire All About Your Entertainment, somebody is managing each of those individual, accessories and add-ons. So you get a full team there to help do that. I want to talk a little bit before we go, what it's like to be a husband and wife team and working together. We have husband and wife photographers and videographers, but what's it like to really be running one of the top premier companies in our community, in our market, as husband and wife? Is it still just as great? Do you still
It
enjoy
is.
being there on Saturday nights? It's your every Saturday night date. You guys have a date every Saturday night. Think about it.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
Terrible.
I can't stand it. No.
You can't get
the funny
overserved.
Here's the funny thing about me and Jeff. Jeff and I met on the job. He working at his radio station. I was the station intern at his radio station, and that's how we met. So we've always been working together, and then there was a few years that we didn't, and those were sad years because we never saw each other. But now we're always together, and we're just, Jeff and I are best friends, and we've coming up on 20 years marriage this September. So I wouldn't have it any other way. We love what we do, and it shows, and we strengthen each other through this business. I think our marriage has gotten even stronger running a business together, wouldn't you say?
Well,
because we help each other, and some things might fall through the cracks that I might miss, and then Cindy finds them or picks them out, and so you have two people working on something instead of one, so you can't make near as many mistakes where there's no issues. I take care of the DJ side for the most part. Cindy takes care of the photo booths and that staff and the wedding coordinating part. But if you're a bride and groom looking for a company to run your event, flawlessly and stress-free, think about having a husband and wife together working on your event. The husband is the DJ, the wife is the wedding planner or photo booth operator, both at the same event, your event. I mean, there's nothing better. It runs smooth and we get along great. And even if you hire one of the other DJs and it's not me and Cindy's still the wedding coordinator, they work for Cindy, that DJ, so the events are still going to be smooth. And we really enjoy working together, and we really are impressed and blessed at how much our business has grown over the years. And I think it's because we work so well together. And
I was going to say you're both dynamic separately, but as a duo, I think you're unstoppable. And hey, it's the wedding couple that works together at weddings stays together. So, if you're not, it's always a stressful day. And I think if a couple is like, we've seen couples fight on wedding days. And if you're like, look, these guys are working together. This is their 9 millionth wedding and they're still smiling, aspire to be that couple, but I do think it adds I think couples feel, hey, they're investing in because it's one thing if you had your business by yourself, Jeff, and somebody's doing something else, but now couples go, hey man, this is their livelihood. This is their career, that they've invested in this wedding industry thing so much that the two of them are doing it together. I want to be a part of that. And they do. And your reviews reflect that, the fact that you've earned your status here in the market. And I know for a fact that you guys could rebuild this left and right, but I'll be honest, what makes it you is you guys. Where there can be clones, you could go out to another market and try to find another Cindy and Jeff to be you guys. But you guys are what makes this here. And I'm very honored to work with you guys on a wedding day. So, you keep doing what you're doing. And, like I said, you elevate our industry so much. I can't stress that enough. Before we go, let's remind couples, Jeff, tell our couples what they can do to have a better relationship with the DJ, what they need to do at the beginning so that it starts off and ends well. What's some tips that you can give couples when they're seeking out their DJ?
Well, just, your couples or your family and friends better than the DJ does. So think about that when you're putting together your music list, and I touched on it briefly before. Do you just want us to play some of your favorite songs that you like to listen to on a Sunday morning in your pajamas drinking coffee? Or do you want us to play some songs that will get people up and dancing? What kind of vibe are you looking for the reception? There is a formula. Most weddings, they start out kind of formal. People get loose, and the dancing is usually, a different part of the reception, the latter part. And, you just got to think a little bit. Just give it some time, what songs does your grandmother like? Maybe that's something you might want to play during cocktail or dinner, some of her favorite songs. And don't tell her, what a great surprise to hear her wedding song from, 1963 or something played during dinner, and she'll smile or cry, and another great photo opportunity for you, Bobby,
Exactly. And creating those moments. And I think if couples understand that you go to your DJ, you really can't ask a wrong question. I mean,
Nope.
Again, you guys do this every weekend, but if you just sit down and listen to what like Jeff or they're asking, you really can't ask a wrong question. And the more information you give all your vendors, the better equipped we're going to be. And then especially to be able to at a team, because I could say to you, hey, when I was doing the engagement session, they talked about grandma dancing in this, blue suede suit to Elvis Presley on this day, or the grandfather just passed away. How fabulous would it be? And then you get the couple on board, and then I can quietly say something to you, and we've created now a moment for them. And again, it's priceless. But I think if they would just, come to the DJs and say, hey, look, we have no idea what we want. We know we hate these songs. Take it from here.
Yeah, we can offer lots of different suggestions on things that we've seen, certain trends, things that are popular. But we also like to hear from you. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, and then we can make that happen. And, there's, like you said, there's really no wrong question to ask. And the more questions you ask, the better, because then we get more of a feel for exactly what you're looking for. And, there's no two weddings that are the same. There really aren't. Even though we do hundreds and hundreds of weddings every year, there's no two weddings that are the same. And we just love it because you're putting smiles on people's faces. And, we always joke around, we should get this on a t-shirt or something, but we always say mixing music and making memories.
There you go.
Because we mix so many different kinds of music at a wedding, stuff from the 50s and 60s up to today's current music, country, rock, Motown, whatever. It's all in that short period of time. So you're mixing different kinds of music, and you are making memories. Some people say, oh, Grandpa hasn't danced in 30 years. And look, he was up dancing tonight. Or, or there's a great special moment with the bride and her dad dancing to a song that he used to sing to her when she was a little kid or something. And, you play those songs and you create those moments, and you get great photography from it, great photos. If the videographer is there, if you have one, they get it all captured on video. And it's kind of cool that we can help create moments like that.
Well, that's what you need to throw those on coasters now. So you can throw those out through at the reception. So the overserved people have something to set their drinks on, that's because sometimes the overserved people are making these memories even more memorable than we even want to deal with. So the same thing about wedding planning. When they come to you, Cindy, when couples come to you, same thing. They can ask any questions, and then together you and Jeff can actually curate a day from the ceremony all the way. So you can actually say, hey, we're going to start with your ceremony. This is what we're going to do, and create a day that goes all the way to the exit at the reception.
Oh, yes. We start makeup, hair and makeup. We really start.
There you go.
And they go all the way to the end. Yeah, I love it. We love what we do. And it's the relationship that with our vendors that really make what we do so awesome.
So what do you guys, a little philosophical question. Where do you guys see yourself in the next 3 years, or where would you like to be? Where would you like to have your business in the next 3 years?
Well, I've always wanted to have 10 DJs. I always thought that number was a great number to shoot
11.
for. Maybe by this time next year, we'll have 11. And that's kind of the max for me, I think.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for a long time. I don't know how much longer I'll be DJing. Maybe till I'm 60. I don't know. But, I just let the brides and grooms kind of tell me what they want. And if they want me to DJ their wedding, I'd be happy to do it. But I don't know. I mean, I don't think we're going to be getting rid of the company anytime soon. We've grown to a point where we're very happy with the size of our company and how many events we do a year. And we do a lot more stuff than just weddings. Weddings is probably a good 75% of our business, but we do proms and school dances. We do lots and lots of corporate events. We do a lot of private parties. We do, family reunions. We do class reunions. We do a lot of cool different things. So it kind of keeps it exciting for us, and it's not boring. I mean, I think if I did a wedding every single Saturday for 30 years, I'd go nuts, and I think anybody would. Right. But it's kind of fun when you can do different types of events, and it keeps it exciting, and we just love what we do.
Like the Joy Prom.
Yeah, we're doing it's called a Joy Prom. that we're doing this weekend, and it's for some mentally challenged kids. And they just go all out and do hair and makeup for the girls, and they have firemen and policemen and stuff like that escort the kids down a red carpet, and they get their pictures taken, and they have a little prom where they get to dance, and food and stuff is donated from a lot of different companies all over the Savannah area. And this is our third year in a row that they've asked us to be the entertainment and do lighting for it. And it's a great way to give back to the community. And I think that's just one of the few things that we do to give back. And I think it's important as a company, not only do we live here and work here, but to give back to the same people that you serve in the community. And we pick a couple charities and stuff every year that we do things for. And, I think that's the right thing to do. And,
that's the beauty of small business. And I do think that's our responsibility. The service that we do here is the rent that we pay while we're on earth. And I say all the time, especially in this wedding industry, it is a privilege to witness every single weekend this moment and this chapter out of a couple's lives that we may or may not see ever again. But to know that you're a part of it, but more importantly, doing the things like the Joy Prom and things like that, because I can share my talents in that way, and because I can be of service in that way, those I'm far more proud of sometimes than a lot of the paying gigs that I get, because I generally feel that I have participated and I wasn't just hired to be there, that I was meant to be there. And so giving back in those ways, are amazing. So, I don't want you giving your business away too soon. I think you got a few more years in you, when you and I are at a wedding together, and these young couples hire us, I don't know about you, but I sit back and go, man, I think it's pretty fabulous that this young hip group wanted this almost 60-year-old photographer capturing today. And if you and I are together, I mean, they're smart people, because they know, hey, we got some experienced people here. Let's rock and roll this place. And I guarantee you and I have just as much fun as the younger staff. So,
and we do get excited when we work with each other, which is great for the couple.
And I think they see that. And when you build it up to your couple, and we've seen that in a social media post when people write, oh my God, you guys are the dream team. I'm so glad to have everybody together. So I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing everything. Cindy, remind all our listeners where they can find you social media wise.
Instagram, All About You Entertainment, at All About You Entertainment, and Twitter, All About You ENT. Facebook, All About You Entertainment LLC. We post a lot. We'd love to do that. And we also have our website, www.allaboutyoudjs.com.
All right, listeners, there you have it. If you are seeking an entertainment company that can offer you so much more from people who truly, truly, truly believe it's more about you, and that also believe every single vendor should be set up for success, this is the company you need to call. You will do yourself a great service, and you'll have a Fabbo event. Thank you so much, Jeff and Cindy, for joining us. Everybody, thanks for listening. Have a fabulous weekend coming up, and we'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. We hope these conversations will take you into your wedding weekend with a little more confidence, proud of what you do, and how you serve your clients. Maybe you even picked up a business tip or two. Till next time, be Fabbo.